So in this session, we are going to talk about populations. Now, when we talk about the number of birth, we are talking about natality. Natality here refers to the production of new individuals by any reproductive method by an organism. Okay, so it is a positive factor and it leads to increase in density and size of the population. There are multiple components of natality. First is fertility. Fertility refers to a physiological condition. To understand, fertility refers to a physiological condition which shows or says about the ability of an organism to produce viable offspring. Viable offspring here refers to the offsprings which are again capable of reproduction. Only those offsprings which are capable of reproduction are called viable. If the offsprings are fertile, then they are viable. If they are sterile, then they are not viable. Okay, then there is fecundity. Fecundity is an ecological concept which refers to the number of offsprings an organisms can produce at its lifetime or a particular period of time. Okay, so fecundity has two different aspects, that is potential and realized. So imagine the example of human female. A human female has a reproductive age that starts at 15, let's say, and ends around at 55. So with the reproductive age of 40 years and each childbirth taking 9 months, let's say all in all it takes around 12 months. So 1 year for one particular child. Okay, so this is the potential fecundity. Okay, potential fecundity of female human. But actually it cannot happen like that, right? Because whenever an offspring is produced, it takes a lot of care, and hence every offspring cannot be produced in regular intervals. It takes a lot of period of time for care, and if that includes as a factor, then the realized fecundity would be a birth of a child in every 10 or let's say 15 years. So we have to consider that, and the birth rate and the birth of individual is again dependent on multiple factors in the availability of resource. So across the age of 40 reproductive years, there might be only 2 to 3 individuals that are produced in a lifetime. There might be any more, there might be 6, there might be 10, 12, depends. But usually the most profitable or the most wise decision of organisms, wise decision of individuals, of humans would be producing around 2 to 3 individuals. So this is the realized fecundity, where the actual births that a female can have with respect to all the resources and ecological factors. Then there are multiple types of natality. One is maximum natality and one is ecological natality. So here absolute natality talks about the maximum number of productions that an individual can have. So here maximum natality for a human female would be 40, and the realized natality would be around 3 or 4. So natality here refers to the number of individuals that are producing, but fecundity referred to the number of individuals per unit time. So fecundity and natality here are different in the way that the potential fecundity of human female is 1 per year. Okay, but in case of ecological fecundity or realized fecundity, it is 1 per 15 years, or let's say 1 per 3 years at least. Okay, so this is what the difference is. Fecundity talks about the number of individuals that can be produced over a unit time, whereas the maximum natality or the natality talks about the number of individuals produced over lifetime. Okay, after understanding the number of births that is happening, birth rate refers to the number of individuals born per female per unit time. Okay, birth rate here refers to the number of individuals born per female per unit time. So the birth rate depends on multiple factors, the first being clutch size. Clutch size refers to the number of individuals that are produced in one particular go. So a bird can produce up to a clutch size of 2 to 6. There are multiple individuals that produce multiple number of eggs at one particular clutch. Clutch size also refers to the number of individuals given birth at. Now it depends on the time gap or the number of years or time period in between reproductive events or the reproductive or consecutive reproductive events. Apart from that, it also mentions it also depends on the age to attain reproductive maturity. Like in case of humans, it is around 14 or 13, 14 years, and the total lifetime of an individual is around 70. So the portion that is taking up to attain the reproductive maturity is relative. In case of insects, that is varying. So the number of eggs that is produced and the time gap between each production and the time that is required to attain maturity or the ability to reproduce is the factor that determines the birth rate of a population. Now, the death rate or the death or mortality that we deal with is the death of individuals by any particular reason. It is usually a negative factor and decreases the population density and population size. Now, there might be two different aspects of it. One is minimum mortality, which is the theoretical minimum, the number of death under an ideal or non-limiting conditions. Let's say, for an example, there are 100 individuals of humans. Okay, and let's say, just for imagination, each human can die only after 100 years. Human usually can die only after 100 years. So what will happen after 100 years? There will be one particular death. Okay, so every 100 years there will be deaths. So the theoretical minimum of death that will happen over 100 years is 1. Okay, but ecological mortality refers to the actual loss of individuals that happens over different environmental conditions. So if there are 100 individuals that happens to die, that will not die in particular 100 years of age. Even if the life expectancy of that particular individual is 100, they will die because of different ecological conditions that can be, they can be either eaten by a particular predator, they could be due to effect of any particular disease or parasite, they could be effect of loss of resources or unavailability of resources or of food, they could be due to competition or fight between individuals. It can be different ecological factors which resulted in decrease or mortality of individuals. So even if the human expectancy would be 100 years, they will die way before it because of the different ecological constraints. So minimum mortality is the minimum number of death that can happen in a population under non-limiting or ideal conditions. There are no external effects that are happening over the individual, but ecological mortality is the real-time conditions where it talks about actual loss that happens under different environmental conditions. So there are different components of mortality. Mortality is dependent on aging factor, how fast an organism achieves its senescence or how fast it grows old, because here aging refers to a progressive end of the vital processes. Here accumulation of waste which reduces the speed and vital processes. There is longevity. Longevity refers to the maximum length of the lifespan that an organism can achieve. Okay, without any ideal without any stress or ideal conditions. So longevity refers to the maximum number of age or time period that an organism can have. Understanding in detail of longevity and life expectancy. Life expectancy refers to a statistical measure of average time an organism is expected to live. Okay, so it is a statistical measure of average time that an organism is expected to live based on the year of its birth, when it is, around which conditions have it been produced, the current age and other demographic factors. Then longevity is the typical length, that is the maximum length an organism can have, but it is usually affected by systematic processes, the regular physiological process that is going on, and stochastic or random processes that might happen, a disease or a immune response that might happen, or any random process that can be either internal, that is demographically birth and death are happening over population, or it can be externally affected by any environmental processes. So different organisms have different life cycles. One of the most One of the most important aspect of understanding different life cycles is understanding the number of reproductive cycle that they have. So if they produce in multiple reproductive event, they are called heteropares, where if they are producing in a single reproductive event, they are called as semelparous. Semelparous here refers to being the ability to only reproduce once. But if they are able to reproduce multiple times, then they are called heteropares, like in case of humans and mammals and birds. But insects have been a shorter lifespan, have only one single reproductive event. Sometimes even they die after the reproductive event. Then death rate or the mortality rate is the number of individuals dying in a population per unit time. So between the birth and death, an organism has to survive through different environmental conditions. So the mortality that the organism faces with respect to age is represented in survivorship. Survivor here refers to individuals who are facing the threat of mortality and yet are living. So survivorship curves represent the differential graphical patterns of how individuals survive over time. So there are three different types, that is type 1, type 2 and type 3. Type 1 represent the individuals which have high mortality rate during the end of their lifespan. So in case of humans, they survive throughout their young and adult lifespan, but they die off around their end. So usually the death occurs around the end. So they have a more stable population and less number of individuals. But in case of type 2, the number of individuals are relatively high and they face the threat of mortality throughout their lifetime, and they have constant mortality rate, like the examples of birds and insects. They have a facing threat of death throughout their lifetime and they die off equally. Let's say in case of like 5 birds survive from that of the clutch of a 10. Similarly, out of the 5, when they grow up, they could be die up to 2, and from that one of them survive, another one dies off. So there is regular threat of many factors and predators and like, so which regulates the population. In case of type 3 are talking about individuals which have maximum mortality during the young age or during the first stage of their lives. Like in case of plant seeds, there are multiple number of seeds that are produced by the plant and only few of them are able to get grown or germinated, and once they have survived, they will survive for a longer period of time throughout. So this is type 1, type 2 and type 3. So you have to understand that this question is very important and it comes over different exams. So you have to remember this. So after watching the video, we can easily understand the great migration of the wildebeest that is happening across African continent and few regions of Africa. So it is pretty interesting to understand that there is a large scale migration that is happening of around 1.5 million individuals that covers over a range of 1800 miles. So they have a very high natality rate of producing around 300,000 individuals per year. And while they migrate from multiple regions, there are lots of death that might occur due to predation, that might happen due to drowning in the river, that might happen to different diseases, and there are around 250,000 deaths that happen. And all in all, that results in the increase of the population by 100,000 individuals or 50,000 individuals. So yet that's a large number. This kind of increase is also regulated by differential death rates. So I'm not talking about in a particular range, but there is variation. So there is a slight increase that happens of the population, but there is regular check of the population so that it's not population bloom that happens. So the population won't increase linearly. So there is a regulatory mechanism that functions around to keep the population in check, and they have certain population. But due to external influences of humans, there is also decrease of the population. So there are multiple factors that regulates the population structure, the population size. So these can be predation by multiple individuals, as we saw. This might be due to disease, it might be competition between individuals, there might be natural calamity which regulates the population, there might be hunting and poaching by artificial means. The habitat loss also regulates the population size and structure. It might change the number of birth that is happening, the number of death, and the variation in different populations also results in the number of immigration that will happen to a particular area, or number of individuals that go out in form of emigration. In case of plant sediment deposition, nutrient cycling plays a major role, while all in all, in a global scale, climate change is a major effector of population change in the structure and regulation. So there are many different factors, and these factors are called limiting factors because they regulate and limit the population number, size, and growth. So they can be either density dependent limiting factors, or they might be density independent limiting factors. Density dependent factors, as the name suggests, talks about all the factors which are dependent across the size on the density of the population. That is, if the density of the population increases, then they are liable to be more predated. If there are 1,000 individuals and the disease bursts in, then all the population are expected to die. So they increase with respect to these factors. The more a number of individuals in a particular area, the more restricted they are to resources, and hence there are more chances of competition. More the availability, more the density of individuals, more the waste that will be produced, and the sediment that will be deposited of the individuals after their deaths. Now, density independent factors are those factors which are not directly dependent on the population, but they can affect the entire population. Like in case of natural calamities, they are not population dependent, that might happen on its own. Habitat destruction, that is man-made, and these kind of effects have large scale implication on the population, its regulation, its size, and how it functions over time. Thank you.